The Bene Gesserit may be one of the most fascinating and misunderstood forces in Dune universe. They appear several times in the movies, and their motivations are explained somewhat, but not in any depth. They supposedly have the greatest plan, but as with most things in Dune, their true motivations shrouded in mystery. So if you've only seen the movies, you likely have no idea what was going on with them. So what's their plan? Are they truly the villainous puppet masters that many perceive them to be? Or could it be that their motivations, while undoubtedly ruthless, are ultimately rooted in a sincere desire to safeguard the future of humanity? Let's take a closer look. To really understand the Bene Gesserit, first we must understand the world that birthed them, a world traumatized by its own creations. The story of the Sisterhood begins in the ashes of humanity's greatest mistake. 10,000 years before Paul Atreides would set foot on Arrakis, humanity fought a desperate war against its own creation, thinking machines. The Butlerian Jihad, as it came to be known, ended with humanity's victory and a fundamental reshaping of human society. In this vacuum of power and purpose, the Bene Gesserit emerged with a radical proposition. If humanity could no longer rely on thinking machines to chart its course through the stars, then humanity itself must evolve, not through technology, but through the refinement of human potential itself. They believed that within the human mind and body lay capabilities far beyond what most could imagine, capabilities that, with proper breeding and training, could be awakened. And so they began with themselves. Through rigorous training and genetic manipulation, they developed abilities that bordered on the supernatural. Their techniques gave them control over their body chemistry at the molecular level, allowing them to neutralize poisons within their own bodies and even choose the gender of their unborn children. They also mastered the weirding way, a martial art so precise and swift that observers might mistake their movements for teleportation. Certain sisters could also become truth-sayers, basically a human lie detector. But perhaps their most remarkable achievement was the awakening of other memory, the ability to access the genetic memories of their female ancestors. Through a deadly ritual involving the water of life, a sister could become a reverend mother, gaining access to the collective experiences of all her female forebears. It was a power that made them nearly omniscient about the past, but with one crucial limitation: they could only access the female line. The male genetic memory remained a darkness they could not penetrate. So this limitation led to what would become their most ambitious project, a breeding program to create the one who can be in many places at once, the Kwisatz Haderach, a super being able to access both male and female genetic memories, essentially looking through all of time with absolute prescience. The Bene Gesserit envisioned him as a near Nietzsche's Übermensch. Just like Nietzsche, they believed that humanity needed to transcend its current limitations to ensure its survival. The Kwisatz Haderach was meant to be this transcendent being, not just a powerful ruler, but a fundamental evolution in human consciousness. Of course, achieving this goal was a plan that would take thousands of years, which is why they needed to expand their influence within the Imperium and beyond. In fact, with all their powers and wisdom, they had already proven to be highly beneficial to the Imperium, but this wasn't enough. To execute their millennia-long breeding program seamlessly, they needed to secure even more critical positions of power. So under the leadership of Valia Harkonnen, as we see her in the show, the Sisterhood began placing their members in positions of power throughout the Imperium. But as their influence grew, they became more than just advisors. While they still offered their abilities in service to the great houses, in return, they took on the education of their children, particularly the daughters, training them to become Bene Gesserit themselves and marrying them off to chosen individuals as part of their breeding program. But the really interesting part is how deeply loyal every Bene Gesserit becomes to the Order. Whether through manipulation or persuasion, every member of the Sisterhood put the Order's goals above everything, even family. And nothing was more important than their breeding program. They spent generations subtly collecting the genes they needed. All of this, of course, was a secret that nobody in the Imperium knows. As far as anyone else knows, they are some kind of witches that provide valuable services of truth-saying, educating noble women and giving astute advice or guidance, especially in politics and rule. However, behind the scenes, their plans continued to grow ever more intricate and far-reaching. They didn't just influence politics, they weaponized belief itself. Just like the real-life Jesuits, they engaged in missionary work. They created the Missionaria Protectiva, a branch of their order dedicated to seeding prophetic religions throughout the known universe. The main goal of the Missionaria Protectiva was to create myths and prophecies for their superhuman to step into. The plan was brilliant in its simplicity. When the time came, bypass the political schemes of the Imperium entirely by ensuring that their Kwisatz Haderach would take on a ready-made religious authority. Only then would the Bene Gesserit quietly rule from behind the throne, with the Kwisatz Haderach as their puppet. At least that's what those who see them as the villains of the story believe. But I think that perspective misses a crucial point. I mean, think about it. The Bene Gesserit had the ability to shape politics and society as they saw fit. If you're planning something that'll take 10 millennia to pull off, you must be after something bigger than just political influence. Thousands of sisters would live and die over those 10,000 years, most never seeing the fulfillment of their work. So even for them, there had to be something more profound at stake than simply pulling political strings. Moreover, the very idea of controlling the Kwisatz Haderach seems fundamentally flawed. How could they possibly hope to control a being who could see everything and whose powers would far exceed their own? They knew exactly what they were creating, a superhuman who would be superior to them in every way. So the idea of controlling such a being would have been laughably naive. It makes far more sense that they weren't seeking to control him at all, but rather hoping his vision would align with theirs. And when you look at how things actually play out, that's exactly what happens. Because when their long-awaited superhuman finally arrived, his ultimate goal aligns perfectly with theirs, ensuring humanity's survival. Even if it's not in the way they'd imagined, he fulfills their vision. So when you really think about it, this 10,000-year plan actually works out just as the Sisterhood wanted. In the end, they have won. This, I think, is the most fascinating aspect of the Bene Gesserit. Through 10 millennia of setbacks and obstacles, they remained both adaptable and committed to their ultimate purpose. They knew that power wasn't an end in itself, but a tool for something greater. Yes, they wielded immense power, but they didn't seek to rule directly. Their ambitions were grander, almost altruistic in their scope. They've seen the fragility of empires, the destructive cycles of history, and they know that without intervention, humanity will destroy itself, if not through war, then through stagnation. Perhaps this is why they are the true masters of the Dune universe. They understood the humanity's fundamental problem and methodically paved the way for a solution, the creation of a god who would guide humanity. And in the end, they succeeded. So if you've made it this far, thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, I'd really appreciate if you could leave a comment, give a like, and click to subscribe. Your support will greatly help the mysterious algorithm notices me. And if you want to support me personally, you can join the channel by using the join button. See you next time.